The night I found out my husband got my best friend pregnant, I was holding a positive pregnancy test of my own. I stood there in our bathroom in Charlotte, North Carolina, staring at two pink lines, tears already streaming down my face, but not from joy. Because 30 minutes earlier, I had found a text message that destroyed my entire world. My name is Mara Collins. I was 29 years old, a third-grade teacher at Pinewood Elementary, and I believed, truly believed, that I had the life most women only dreamed about. My husband, Daniel, was everything I thought a good man looked like. Tall, steady, the kind of guy who remembered your coffee order and fixed your car without being asked. We met in college at UNC Charlotte, married at 25, and spent 4 years building something I thought was unbreakable. And Jessica Moore had been my best friend since the 7th grade. She was the maid of honor at my wedding. She held my hand when my mother passed away from cancer 2 years ago. She was the person I called at 2 in the morning when I couldn't sleep. She was supposed to be my person. So when I accidentally picked up Daniel's phone thinking it was mine, because we had the same case, the same model, an ordinary Tuesday mistake, and saw a text from Jess that said, "Daniel, I'm 12 weeks. We can't keep pretending this didn't happen," something in my chest didn't just break. It shattered so completely I didn't even know what shape it had been before. I didn't confront him that night. I know that surprises people. But I was a woman who had watched her mother fight cancer for 3 years with quiet dignity, and I had learned something from her: never make a permanent decision in a moment of pure fire. Instead, I called my sister, Renee, who drove 40 minutes from Concord without a single question. She sat with me on the kitchen floor while Daniel slept down the hall, completely unaware that I now knew the truth. And I told her about the pregnancy test I had taken that evening. The one I had been so excited about. The one I had been planning to surprise Daniel with over a candlelit dinner that weekend. "Mara," Renee whispered. "You're pregnant too?" I nodded. And we sat there in the dark, not saying anything else for a long time. Over the next 3 days, I did something that changed everything. I got quiet. Completely, deliberately quiet. I went through Daniel's email, something I had never done in 4 years of marriage, and what I found was not a one-night mistake. It was 14 months of lies. Hotel receipts in Raleigh. Dinner reservations I had never been invited to. Texts that went back to the summer I was grieving my mother, the summer I was at my most broken and most trusting. While I was burying my mother, Daniel was falling in love with my best friend. I also found something else. Something that cracked the entire situation open in a way I never expected. A wire transfer. $70,000. Sent from Daniel's personal account to a private account I had never seen before. I hired a financial investigator, a quiet, sharp woman named Patricia Howe, who came recommended through my divorce attorney, and within 72 hours, Patricia confirmed what I had not yet imagined. Daniel had been stealing from the architecture firm where he worked as a senior partner. Small amounts at first, then larger ones. The firm had been quietly investigating him for 4 months. They were preparing to press charges. My husband, the steady, reliable man I had loved for 8 years, was not only a cheating liar. He was a criminal who was 2 weeks away from arrest. I filed for divorce on a Thursday morning. Daniel came home that evening to find his bags packed neatly by the door, my attorney's card sitting on top, and me sitting at the kitchen table with my hands folded, completely calm. The look on his face, that flash of genuine shock, told me he had never believed I was capable of this kind of silence, this kind of precision. He had mistaken my kindness for weakness for years. That was his greatest mistake. "Mara, please," he started. "I can explain." "Patricia Howe sends her regards," I said simply. The color left his face. He tried to reach for my hands. I stood up, walked to our bedroom, and locked the door. I heard him standing in the hallway for a long time. And then I heard him leave. 3 weeks later, Daniel was formally charged with wire fraud and embezzlement. The firm pressed full charges. His attorney told Renee, through a mutual contact, that Daniel was facing up to 7 years. Jess called me exactly once during this time. I let it go to voicemail. She left a message that was 7 minutes long, crying, explaining, begging me to understand. She said she hadn't meant for it to happen. She said she still loved me. She said she was scared and alone. I listened to it once. And then I deleted it. Some people ask me if I felt guilty about that. About not forgiving her. About not giving either of them a chance to explain. Here is what I tell them: forgiveness is something I will find in my own time, in my own way. But reconciliation, letting people back into your life after they have proven who they are, that is a different thing entirely. And I had a baby to protect. My daughter, Lily Ann Collins, was born on a Tuesday in March. 7 pounds, 4 ounces, with her grandmother's eyes and the loudest cry the labor and delivery nurses said they had heard all week. I laughed through every tear. Renee was in the room. My father drove up from Greenville. My colleague from Pinewood, a warm, funny man named Marcus who had been bringing me soup and grocery store flowers since he found out I was going through a divorce, sat in the waiting room for 6 hours and cried when I sent him a photo. Marcus. Quiet, steady Marcus, who had never once pushed me or pressured me or made me feel like I owed him anything. Who had simply shown up, week after week, without being asked. 6 months after Lily was born, he asked if he could take us to dinner. I said yes. Daniel is currently serving a reduced sentence of 3 years after cooperating with federal investigators. Jess moved back to her hometown of Asheville after the baby, a boy she named Jacob, was born. From what I have heard through people we once shared, things between her and Daniel did not survive the weight of what they had built together. Betrayal, it turns out, is a terrible foundation. I don't think about them often. But when I do, I don't feel rage anymore. I feel something quieter. Something that took me a long time to name. I feel grateful. Grateful that I found out when I did. Grateful that I chose silence over fire. Grateful that I had a mother who showed me how to carry pain without letting it carry you. Lily is 14 months old now. She has 4 teeth and an obsession with knocking things off tables and watching them fall. She finds this endlessly hilarious. So does Marcus. Last Sunday morning, we were all in the kitchen in our new house in Matthews, a little 3-bedroom with a big backyard and a porch swing I drink my coffee on every morning, and Lily was sitting in her high chair, laughing at absolutely nothing, the way babies do. And Marcus looked over at me across the kitchen and just smiled. No words. Just that quiet, certain smile. And I thought about the woman sitting on a cold tile bathroom floor 14 months ago, holding 2 pieces of information that felt like the end of everything. She could never have imagined this kitchen. This Sunday. This feeling. Here is what I want you to take from this story. The people who betray you are not the end of your story. They are just the moment where your real story begins. The life you were meant to live was never with someone who was willing to destroy you. It was always waiting for you on the other side of the worst thing that ever happened to you. Stay quiet when you need to be quiet. Stay strong when everyone expects you to fall apart. And never, never, mistake your kindness for a weakness. Because one day, the people who underestimated you will understand exactly what they lost. And by then, you will already be home.